Hello YouTubers, Drynet Dave here. I'm supposed to be fishing today, but British summertime and the weather has returned to normal operation, so I'm really not going to even attempt to get myself out in that today. I was planning to go to a local lake and have a look at getting into some catfish. I've not fished for catfish at all before. It's one of those things that is on my list to catch. So this nearby lake, apparently it's got quite a good stock of smaller ones. There's a few big ones in there as well. So what I'm going to do first and foremost is just basically, I've got to set a couple of rods up, so I'm just going to run you through how I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it out, what the rigs I'm going to use, and I'll just run through that, and then hopefully that will lead on to a session later on when the weather's improved a little bit. So what I'm going to be using, I've got some 20-pound braided hook link with the polymer covering on it, like I think snake skin type thing, whatever you want to call it. Swivel for that. I've got a size 4 barbless hook. I've got lead clip system that I'm going to be using obviously to clip the lead on. I've got a clip just for a quick hook link change on that, and I've got this which will be part of the hook link setup, which I'll show you. I'm going to plan to use that after. So that's it. So I'll get the rig tied up and I'll show you what the plan is with that. So I'm going to use about the camera viewfinder's width corner to corner, which to you guys is probably about, I don't know, 12 to 18 inches there. So I'll just cut a bit of that off, and what I'm going to do then is I want to take about 6 to 8 inches off of the end of that with this night core stuff. So you can, if you're really clever, just strip that off with your fingers. There you go. So you end up with the plastic outer shell bit gone, and so I've now got a good few inches of exposed braid underneath that. Now what I'm going to do with this, I actually got a feeling I might need a little bit more than that because of the plan that I've got. So let me take another few inches off of there, which I've done. So what I want to do is put a fairly large loop in the end of this. There is a reason, trust me on this one. Now again, this is kind of a variation of an idea that I picked up from Graham Pullen on TA fishing, his most recent video when he was actually doing some catfish fishing himself. He was using large lumps of luncheon meat, which is what I plan to do, and he was also just basically doing a big hook link, like a hair, through the piece of meat, and then he's just tying that directly onto the bottom of the bend of the hook. So I want to try this in the sort of the style that I do with my carp fishing. So I'm going to basically do a nice long hair with a big loop on the end of it, so I can fit like little sticks or matchsticks or something in there as a support for the meat. But I'm just going to tie the knotless knot. Now I don't know if you don't know how to do this, there's probably lots and lots of videos out there. I've used the knotless knot, or it's the only knot I've ever used ever for carp fishing, you know, for making hairs out of. So I think that might be about the size I'm looking for. We'll be using some big old chunks of luncheon meat because that will keep the carp off and the other smaller fish, and hopefully the cats will then concentrate on picking them up. So having left a reasonably long hair, what's left of this, just come round a few turns down the shaft. You're basically, what you're aiming to do is you're clamping the hair to the back of the shaft of the hook like that, and then what you want to do then is come up through the back again. If it will go, because I'm trying to do this without, there we go. So up through the back of there, pull it nice and tight, holding the hook, So what you want when you look at this is you want that hook sitting just like that. See, it's at a slight angle. Now, I've not found anything yet that hooks up better on a fish that's ejecting the bait. I've been using this for years. I've caught lots of carp with it. Hopefully it'll work with a catfish as well. Just a bigger hole in it. So, but anyway, what that also gives you is that you've got quite a flexible hook link on the end there. So, but you've still got this stiff tubing. So if I can actually get that in shot. So you've left a little bit of the uncovered braid so that the hook link is actually still quite flexible and floppy. That makes it harder for ejection, but you've still got this thick outer braid skin, as it were, the polymer coating, so that helps maintain the stiffness to your rig. And when you put your swivel on that end coming off your main line, it just helps to maintain a little bit of anti-tangle property on there. So I'm hoping the camera's focusing on all this. If it isn't, I apologise, but I'm using my cheapy cool picks, which I've broken twice, and it's now being basically held together with glue. So but anyway, I'll get this finished tied up and I'll show you the rest of the gear now. I'll set it all up. So I've got my dirt cheap budget carp reels that I got on sportsdirect.com. No, I'm not being sponsored by anybody, seriously, no. £12 each, and I figured they were a little bit of an upgrade for my grandson actually, because he had a couple of little really budget carp reels that weren't very good. He's landed lots of fish with them, don't get me wrong, but the drags on them were atrocious and really made me nervous when he was playing fish. So let's see if these are any better. So for 12 quid a pop, I'm not that bothered if they're crap and I lose them or they break or they fall in, then it's not a big deal for me. So there are my nice little Sonics 10 footers, also bought for my grandson. He's had great success with these rods and reels. So I've got the end of my main line, goes off to my rod and reel, and this is pretty much the order in which these are going to go on. So we're going to go in there, then the obligatory lead clip, then this is on as well, like that, and then I've got just a quick clip here which I need to tie on there. So I'm just gonna missed it, yay, third time lucky. Pop that in, do like maybe 5 or 6 turn grinner. So that's nicely knotted up. Just trim that tag end, leave a little bit on there because again the fish don't care, they're not going to see that bit. Right, so pulling it all back down to where we were, I want to put my hook length through there onto that clip, if it will. Come on, better not come off as easy as that was to get on, as it were, kind of. Anyway, what I want to do is pull that down onto that, and then this I would normally just give that little tease in there just to lock it off. So it's kind of like a semi-fixed bolt rig. The fish takes that. If it does snag, that's going to pull out quite easily, so it's not going to be a problem for the fish to lose the lead at any point. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a wedge. Hopefully that's predominantly or mostly, oh hello, where'd that come from? Hopefully that's predominantly or mostly tangle free. Don't usually have any problems with this kind of rig. So that's that, it's done. So get that one tied up and done, and we'll see how we get on with the next bit. Remember, nice long hair. I'll put up a huge big chunk of meat on the end of that, and then we'll see where we get on when we do finally get to go out fishing. Good morning YouTubers, it's Dry Net Dave here. So it's a Saturday, it's the very end of September, it's the last Saturday of September, and it's looking to be a very nice day. Sun's out, I'm in the shade of some lovely willow trees, one of my favourite trees, and I'm at a lake called the 40 Acre Plantation. So I watched a catfishing video by Graham Pullen on the Totally Awesome Fishing Show a few weeks back, and he was catching lots of catfish just using luncheon meat. And I seem to remember from back in my carp fishing days that one of the things we used to use as well as luncheon meat was this stuff. Now we used to find that we used to get better results on this, so I'm kind of doing a bit of a challenge. It's the luncheon meat versus bacon grill challenge. Hopefully I'll catch some catfish. I don't know, we'll see, but I just want curious to know if one of these baits will outfish the other for bites or whatever, so we'll see how it goes. So anyway, finish setting up and then I'll get fishing and hopefully we'll have a result today, so I'll catch up with you guys soon. So there's the two meats side by side, and I think you'd agree that you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between the two, certainly from visually. I'd say there's more little pinky bits in the luncheon meat than there is on the bacon grill, but the main difference is the smell. If you smell the two, there's a definite smokiness to the bacon grill that's not in the luncheon meat. Maybe that's what gives it its edge, I don't know. Right folks, hope you're getting this. So this is pretty much it. I've got a 2-ounce clipped up lead like I always use. It's kind of semi-bolted, and then the swivel and clip pull clear if necessary. So that's all good on that, and that's the bait. So I'm just going to drop this out on my baited area and we'll see what we get. So that's it then. The baits are out, and margins both, because there's rods out all over the place and I really can't be bothered to be getting into all of that. So got one literally under the rod tip, the left one, and the right one's just out slightly past the little reed bed on the right out there. So hopefully we'll just leave them there. I'm going to keep really quiet, and I've put plenty of ground bait out there, so I'm hoping the way it's going to work is the ground bait will attract the smaller fish will attract the predators, and the catfish is a predator. So there we go. Just a matter of waiting. I'm going to put the kettle on. I may have secreted some sausages in my bag. They might be going on, so we'll have a look and see. Now, it's been a long time since I sat down on a lake like this with lots of carp anglers about, and there's one major difference I've noticed is that back in the day, when I'm like 20-30 years ago, when I was seriously carp angling, you wouldn't even know there was other anglers on the lake a lot of the time. You wouldn't hear a peep out of them, because there was just this general respect for each other, keeping it quiet, not making lots of noise, not disturbing the fish, doing that kind of stuff. And it's totally different now. There's so much noise, people hammering stuff in, buzzers bleep bleep bleeping where people are sitting there, rods up. I mean, I used to turn my buzzers off when I used to set my rods up, and they would only be turned on at the point that I actually was ready to sit down and let them get on with it. And you did that because it saved your batteries for the first thing, and secondly, it was just didn't disturb people bleep bleep bleeping all the time. So maybe I'm getting a grumpy old git in my old age, I don't know, but it's just not like it used to be. And it's very more social now, obviously. I mean, there was a little bit of that when I used to do it years ago. You'd have a few beers, have a bit of a laugh, but you kept it down, didn't go too mad. I've had to listen to people playing videos this morning and doing all sorts, so, but hey, if that's the norm, I'll go with it. Just doesn't help. I'm a little bit of an unsociable git when it comes to fishing, I'm afraid. There you are. I do like a lake to myself. I like a little corner somewhere quiet. That's why kayaking's good, because you can kind of get away from everything like that. Anyway, time to put a brew on. Have a nice cup of char. Right, so the sausages are on, and I'm going to feed myself and then hopefully feed something out there. Just seen the bailiff, had a little chat with him. Apparently there was a couple of big cats out last night, one up to £30. That's not what I'm after, so I'll be happy with a little kitten. I'll take one that big today. I just want to catch one of the species. I'm not into big fish and sizes anymore. It's about the species for me, and it's just one more that I haven't caught. So if we can do that, I'll be happy. But beautiful flat calm day out here today. I've seen wrens jumping around. The obligatory cormorant has put in an appearance this morning. But yeah, it's nice. Good to get out on the bank again for a change. Oh, excuse me while I flip my sausages. Not the best stove for this pan. It's not got a wide enough what's on it, but it'll do for today. So if I'm brutally honest, I really don't expect to catch anything today. It's my first time doing this kind of fishing. It's my first time at this particular lake, so what do you reckon? Oh, this is brioche. This is the bailiff's dog. I don't know his name. I think it was after my brioche, but he didn't get any. You alright there, fella? Hey? You alright, mate? Yeah. What do you want? Yeah? What do you want? You gonna sort that dribbly thing out, are you? Hey? You gonna sort that thing out with the dribbles? Yeah? You a good lad, ain't you? Hey. I love dogs. So I am actually a little bit scared if one of those goes off, because the size of them baits that are on it, it's going to need to have a huge mouth to pick that up. So limiting my options, because such a big bait, there's probably no carp in it that can pick them up, so I really am restricting myself to just catfish. I've actually got quite a lot of bubbling on the ground bait that I put in, so I think there is something down there, possibly, but I don't know what catfish do. Do they make bubbles? I don't know. But there's definitely activity on the bait I put in. It's probably smaller fish, but that's what I wanted. So I'm hoping that'll bring the catfish and the predators in. So we will see what's happening. But first I'm going to finish the brioche. Right, it's fast approaching 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's been fairly quiet. I've moved the baits a little bit around just to try and get some variety. I did notice that as the sun's come round, it's actually very shallow in the margin in front of me. It's only about 1.5 feet, 2 foot, which shouldn't be, a problem, because a carp or a catfish or whatever will swim in water that deep. But obviously it's the visibility thing. I know catfish don't like it light. The margin rod, I've kind of left it where it is at the moment. I did pull it tighter into the edge. I've had a liner on it, so there's definitely fish down there, but not necessarily catfish, obviously. So I'm just debating whether to drop that one out on the other side of this lily pad that I was fishing to, and just to get into a slightly deeper water where it might be a bit darker. But I might do that in a little while, just for the last hour or so that I'm here. But yeah, like I said at the beginning, I wasn't expecting miracles today. It's all new to me, and do the best I can, see what happens. That's my carp fishing tackle box. It's all I take, it's all I need. One thing I've learned with the kayak fishing is how to travel with the minimum amount of equipment that you need. I try to apply that now to everything that I do in fishing, because I see people wheeling carp barrels down the road piled up the size of a mini, like Nissan Micra, and I think, why are you carrying all that gear? And some of them are only there for a day session. I've seen it. Bloke went past me. I thought someone was driving a car down the bank. He gets in his swim, not here obviously, but this is a previous session somewhere else, and yeah, piled up with gear, looked like a small car coming down the bank, goes into a swim a few down from where I am, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, he must be here for a few days. No, he was there less time than I was, and he loaded it all up and disappeared again. So yeah, I don't get that mentality anymore with that. I mean, I'm lazy. I don't want to carry as little as possible. Don't understand why you want to carry tons and tons of gear. Doesn't make you catch anymore. People take tellies now in their bivvies. Is that a thing? TV in your bivvy? I don't know. It's not fishing to me, I don't know. But like I said, horses for courses and all that. I'm not going to say don't do it. Do what you like. If you're comfortable and you're catching fish, what does it matter? I just had a nice visit from my younger brother and my niece and nephew. Happened to be nearby. He knew I was over here, so he's popped over and said hello. So they've just gone. And that's Mick. You may have seen him in some of my other videos. And he's fished this one quite a bit recently, and he's done quite well on it too. So he just suggested that me and him should maybe do a night session over here, because I might have a better chance of getting a catfish
and into carp as well. So there's some big carp in this water. So that's one that's penciled in there. We're gonna maybe in the next couple of weeks try and do a Sunday night into Monday or something. I'll take a day off work and get a session over him. We'll see what comes out of it. But he's quite keen to do that, so yeah, something else to look forward to. And of course I'll have to bring the cameras on that one, because I have got night vision cameras. A little known fact about me is that I have performed and taken part in paranormal investigations in the past, and I have the necessary cameras and lighting to be able to film in pitch black. So haven't tried it on fishing yet because I haven't done a night session, but it's something that I could do. It looks a bit weird because everything's like sort of pink and purple on the camera, but you can see what's going on. So but yeah, so look forward, maybe we do that in the next couple of weeks. Be another video to put up if I can get it sorted out. So well, didn't really turn out to be much of a bacon grill versus luncheon meat challenge because I haven't had anything on either at the moment. So, as I said, with my little visit from my brother and having a chat with him, apparently the big fish meal like halibut type pellet is supposed to go quite well over here as well. So maybe that's one to look at as well. Get a different bait for next time. But I don't like this kind of fishing. This is why I don't like it. It's all sitting around, waiting, not doing anything. I'm going to bore you lot solid with just me talking to the camera all the time because there's nothing else to show you. It's not the kind of fishing I like to do. Unless you can go to a lake where you know you're absolutely going to get stuff, then I don't really want to get involved, you know. Anyways, I might leave it there. I'm going to do another hour. So unless I catch something, then it's going to be a fairly short film. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I'm not going to hold my breath, to be honest. Fish are moving. Carp was starting to show. There was a big one that jumped out just about where my tip of my finger is now. A bit while ago. It was a big carp, quite a big carp. So they're on the move. We've got bubbling out there. Whether that will get the catfish moving or not, who knows? But we should have to wait and see. I say that a lot, don't I? I've got a feeling that it's not going to work this time. There's no point in waiting and seeing because there's not going to be anything to see, I don't think. Incidentally, just think of this filming. I've kind of gone lightweight with the film gear this time out, and I've literally got a mobile phone, an old one that I'm using to film, and I'm quite pleased with it so far. It's working all right. I have got one of my bigger, like me waterproof Nikon thingy with me on a tripod, but I've not really used that. So yeah, if this proves to be okay for sort of general stuff like this, I think I'll stick with it. Anyway, got to go. My kettle's boiling, so I need to go and make a cup of tea. So I'll catch up with you soon. Now, just so you guys can see what I actually use when I'm out doing a bit of fishing. So this is my tripod, which you've probably seen all this gear in other films, the kayaking stuff, because I use it quite a lot with that. That's the camera that I use with that. It's a Nikon Coolpix AW130. It's known as a tough camera. It's completely waterproof. You can use it underwater and out, transition backwards and forwards. Microphone still works, everything else. I think there was one of my films called An Unexpected Journey, which I'll try and put a link up here, or in the description, or nowhere at all if I can be bothered. I did use that camera and I did go underwater with it to film some fry and came back out, and it's just nice, pretty cool for that. So that is one of the cameras that I tend to use quite a bit, mainly because I know that whatever happens if it gets wet when you're fishing and kayaking and stuff, it ain't going to get broke. So it's fairly easy to use. Switches on, and you just hit record and off you go. Now, what I'm going to do now to freak you all out is that I'm going to show you recording with this what I'm recording with now. So by the magic of post video effects, this is the camera that I'm recording you on. As you can see, it's just an old mobile phone on a selfie stick that goes down to a foot. So there it is. And yeah, it's a bit wobbly. It can help a bit if the ground's a little bit level and not too what's it, but here we are, Paradox, filming ourselves. So that's yeah, that's the simplest setup that I've got. It's a selfie stick with a foot on it, a tripod foot, and a mobile phone, and that is what you're looking at me now with. So they have it. Thought I'd share that little bit of a gem with you in respect of the kit that I've got running and how easily you can record your stuff if you want to do it. And I've got a grandson. I'm hoping that one day he'll be sitting there when I've long gone and he'll be showing these films to his kids and saying, look, there's your great granddad. You know, this is what he used to do. This is what we you know, I've made films with him. I've got them on my channel. Should do more, really, because time is short. You've got to make the most of it. God, I'm bored.